Okay, good morning. Today is Thursday, December 19th, 2024. It's 9:45 a.m. Just got through the rest stop, got a Whopper and some Snickers bars. That sounds like a real healthy keto meal for brunch, don't you think? And it was interesting, Burger King did not have double cheeseburgers until 10 o'clock. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I said, what do you have? And he said, well, we got the breakfast croissants, or you can get a Whopper. So I could get a Whopper, but not a cheeseburger. I thought that was really interesting. Anyway, so back to my little talk about what I want to talk about. In terms of comparing and contrasting Dr. Jordan Peterson, Christopher Michael Langan, and their theories of humanity, we'll put it. Christopher Langan's CTMU and the extensive broad scope approach that he uses to define and create this linguistic framework from which he uses to derive an understanding of reality, which I think is functional. You know, when I listen to it, it sounds functional. However, I think it could be more functional. And I'll talk about that in two aspects. Hopefully I won't forget those two aspects. But I want to get back to Dr. Peterson because he, I think, overemphasizes it's really interesting because he's so detailed and he so wants to get it right. And it's a good thing. It's a good human being. I feel like he's pursuing all of this with all of his energy, everything he has, and his noteworthy and stellar career as a clinical psychologist, as an educator, and researcher and communicator in the space of basically trying to help people understand people so they can be better people. You know, really, I want to be a better person. How do I do that? Okay, let's talk. And that's where Dr. Peterson comes in. You know, and we have now decades, if not centuries, worth of information that can be useful to walk through in terms of understanding patterns, behavior, and ways of training, teaching, coaching that can help people help to influence people to make the changes necessary in their life. But he also has this idea about the divine, and he's flirting with this reality of divine truth and what that is. And so he's landed on every place but exactly where it should be, and that is on Jesus Christ and Him crucified, and the significance of that event in the history of humanity. And both of these individuals will talk about Jesus, and in a positive way, in a positive reference, but both do not, to my understanding, and I need to read more from Christopher Langan on his true perspective on Christianity, although he seems to leave the door open for the teller aspect, you know, the big guy, the entity that is reality, the God in his theory of everything, encapsulates all the properties of all of the gods that, the different religions have. And that's interesting because you kind of could say that it's almost like a cheat, because, encompasses all the gods. So that means it's, a comprehensive theory. Well, yeah, but all of that information and all of that which everyone believes is not necessarily truth. It's not necessarily the that which has this realm and the unseen realm continuity. I think that's where Jesus, when he suggested and said that when you pray like this: Our Father, Heavenly Father, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This dual presence of realms, earth and heaven, and God's will being synonymous and synchronized between earth and heaven, that is the backdrop of the Bible, and I think the significance of Christ in the Bible and in world history. That's the point that I think both of these individuals will recognize the influence of Jesus in his teaching, but I don't think they readily ascribe that influence as transformational, more ideological, but not transformational. And I think that's the aspect of history that needs to be sussed out more in our talking about this. So, anyway, I'm listening to this, and I want to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in my opening preface, I'm going to talk about this journey that I'm on here, and this comparison of these two authors and two methodologies and worldviews. Might even bring in an atheist also, just to kind of round out the group, so to speak. Alex, somebody or other, the YouTube guy might be a good character to represent that group, and then what I want to do is just lay out what I think the relevant information is, and talk about information, and talk about relevance and significance, and Genesis 3 as the what I want to say, the end of Act 1, where the plot and the hero is identified and the plot is set forth, and just talk about it straight from the text, and point out the significance of the text itself and understanding the text, and why that's important, as opposed to simply using it and conflating it with some other kind of idea, or using it to spice up your own philosophy, or to ascribe and overscribe onto it some modern day understanding of, which I think is what Dr. Peterson does extensively. I don't think there's a real deep appreciation for the meaning of what the original author intended, and I think that's really significant, because I think it's from that understanding that we are able to derive any relevance of meaning and significance for us today. So, all right, I have a Whopper that's getting cold in the bag here. I think I'm going to close this thought down for now. We'll pick this up again at some point, and the next thing I want to talk about is how I want to reach out to the CEO of Appian, who emailed me. This will be an interesting. This is a really big opportunity, and I don't want to blow it. So I have to think about that. All right, that's all for now. We'll catch you. Got another 6 hours on the road here, so yeah. Alrighty. Talk to you later.